Hello and welcome to our webinar this afternoon. I'm delighted to have Ian and Geoff here from Too Simple. Geoff is the Director of School Improvement, and he's going to be leading us through the presentation this afternoon about your SEF and how you can align it to your school improvement with all the changes that have happened recently in the Ofsted inspection. And actually, I've been a great fan of this product for many years. I used it in schools myself. So I do know the product inside out, and actually is really useful for school leaders to have. So I'm going to hand straight over to Geoff and Ian to tell us all about the updates and all the things, because I'm keen to know what's happening of myself. And if there's any question, do put them in the chat, and we will ask those questions during the presentations or afterwards. So enjoy.
Thanks, Jonathan. Hi, yes, I'm Geoff, the Director of School Improvement from Too Simple. I'm going to be taking you through the presentation today. We're going to be looking at the new Ofsted inspection framework and the new software that we've got to help head teachers and school managers deal with that in a more effective and timely manner. My colleague Ian is here as well, so if you've got any specific questions as I'm going through the presentation, please just type them in or shout them out, and Ian will attempt to answer them as best as he can. Also, if you've got any kind of commercial based questions, Ian can deal with those kind of questions at the end of the presentation. So what I'll do is share my screen with you now and take you through the products. But before we do that, I'll give you a little bit of the background. We built Know My School because so many head teachers were coming to us with questions about how do they manage self-evaluation in a cost-effective and collegiate way. How could they involve not just the senior leadership team, but all the key members of staff, key governors, and so on? How could the multi-academy trust be involved in that process as well? And so we built the first version of Know My School about 5 years ago. That was really successful, and last year at BET it won the School Improvement Software of the Year. And then with the advent of the new inspection framework, we decided that the best thing to do, because the inspection framework is so different, we decided the best thing to do was completely rewrite the platform. So what I'm about to show you now is a completely rewritten brand new platform. We only launched this about 6 weeks ago, and it's the fastest growing software I think that we've ever launched. So what I'll do now is share my screen with you. Just one moment. Here we go. So this is what a local installation of Know My School looks like. It sits on our existing platform. And this platform contains a number of other products that you may well have heard of. So if your school uses Evidence Me, that also sits on this platform. So this is the market leading assessment software for early years schools. But as well as that, there's an action planning module and the new self-evaluation module, which I'm going to take you through today. So each school has their own view, which looks like this. We deliberately built this page to look like the report cards that Ofsted recommend that we produce. So down the left-hand side here, we've got the new areas of the inspection framework: safeguarding, inclusion, curriculum and teaching, achievement, attendance and behaviour, personal development, well-being, early years, leadership and governance. If I was in a high school setting, I could activate the sixth form module for that as well. In the middle, we've got how we've currently evaluated ourselves. So safeguarding, yeah, we're okay there. Inclusion, we've evaluated ourselves as strong. Curriculum and teaching, we've reached the expected standard, and so on. So it means you can immediately see what you do well, where the school is successful, but also, crucially, where areas require attention. And again, this is perfect for all those stakeholders involved in making the school a better place. So not just the leadership team, governors, multi-academy trust, and so on, and more junior members of staff. So you can immediately see what it is you do well and where you need to improve. And I'll explain a little bit more about how these judgments are come to, because again, the way that we arrive at these judgments has changed subtly, as you'll know from the training that we've all had from Ofsted. and I'll explain a little bit about why these judgments say what they do in a short while. Over here on the right hand side, we've built in a brand new AI area. So what we wanted to do was, as you were going through the self-evaluation process, we thought that it would be great if we could use an educationally focused AI integration, which could make suggestions of what specifically Ofsted might be looking for, and also provide examples of great practice for the criteria that you're currently reviewing. And that will do this. As I go through the process in a second, you'll see that over here in the Ask AI area, it will make suggestions and offer you prompts as you go along. You can also ask it anything you like. So down here at the bottom, just like any other AI that you might use in school at the moment, you can ask it anything. So it could write an assembly for you, or a PE lesson, or any educational focused question it can deal with. But it's also got built-in prompts to help you as you go through that self-evaluation process. I'll take you through the overview, the evidence library, and the summary reports in a moment as we go through it. So what we wanted from this first page was just one place where everybody can immediately see the health of the school, and from the feedback from the schools that are using it at the moment, tells us that that it exactly does that. If we take a look at inclusion, I'll explain how we've come to make these decisions. So when you're going through the self-evaluation process, all you do is click on an area that you're going to evaluate. So I click on the area, inclusion. Then I've got the subsections: supporting disadvantaged pupils, supporting pupils with SEND, supporting pupils who are known to children's social care, and so on. So I'm going to do supporting disadvantaged pupils. When I click on that, below there are the specific criteria taken from the inspection framework and how we've currently evaluated ourselves against each of those criteria. Now, if I click on this first one, watch what happens over here on Ask AI. So as I click on this one, the pupil premium strategy is aligned with the wider school improvement priorities. The AI has come back with what to expect when Ofsted come and visit. So here, Ofsted will be looking for evidence of school pupils' premium strategy document being reviewed annually. They'll be looking for evidence, data showing how pupil premium funding is being used to close attainment gaps, and so on. Over here, beneath the criteria, you can see if I'm going to place myself in an exceptional category, our school needs to look like this. If I'm going to place ourselves in a strong category, we need to look like this. In the expected category, looks like this. Needs attention looks like this. Urgent improvement looks like this. So I might say, after looking at the AI suggestions and looking at the success criteria for this particular criteria, I might say, actually, I think we're in the expected standard, which then updates this area, and that subsequently updates the area above. Then I click on the criteria below, and I go through that whole process again. Below, it shows me what exceptional looks like, what strong looks like, what expected looks like. Over here, we've got what Ofsted will be looking for. If I wanted to look at any of these in more detail, so for instance, evidence of target interventions and support for pupil premium for students, I could click on that, and it will bring back specific examples of where schools address this particular issue really well. And I can cut and paste those and put them into my improvement planning later on as well, by the way. So it really is a case of just moving through the criteria, using AI to give you an indication of what Ofsted will be looking for, but also make you consider things that you may not have considered in the past. And then you can also look for examples of great practice, because if you find yourself on a kind of boundary between strong and expected, and effectively there's a gap that's preventing you from moving into the strong category, you could look in more detail at some of these. And if there was some examples of strategies you could put in place to fill that gap, you could just cut and paste them from there and put them in the improvement plan, which I'll show you later on. There's also an area where you can add pieces of evidence as well for each of the criteria and each of the sections. You can add some notes in here about identifying what your intentions are for this particular criteria. You can also attach pieces of evidence as well, so you can just drag and drop or attach those in there. Any kind of evidence you like, by the way. So that can be sound files, video files, links out to Arbor or Sims or spreadsheets or anything like that. We're not expecting for a moment, by the way, that you attach evidence for everything. But if you want to attach pieces of evidence, then the opportunity to do that is there. And we've got a whole new evidence management area as well, where you can draw upon that evidence really quickly too, should you need it later on. So that's the way you kind of work through the framework to come up with these suggestions. Now, what you might also notice are these numbers here. So if we look at curriculum and teaching here, we've got 22 criteria that we've evaluated as expected, 18 criteria that we've evaluated as strong, and 3 criteria that we've evaluated in the exceptional category. And the system has come back with, it expects us to be in the expected category, because that is the lowest category that we've evaluated criteria in. And what I mean by that is, if you look down here at attendance and behaviour, in attendance and behaviour, we've got 30 criteria that we've evaluated as in the expected category, and 2 that we've identified in the strong. So 32 criteria in expected and strong, but we've still got 12 in the needs attention. So that drags the whole of the judgment down into the needs attention category. And this is the particular issue that is such an issue with the new framework and the way that Ofsted will be judging us moving forward. You only need the odd criteria to be misevaluated, and it pulls down the whole of the judgments. What's great about this is you can then immediately see what these criteria are. So if I click on that, needs attention, I can see we've got 3 in attendance, and I can click on that and go immediately to the criteria that we've evaluated as needing attention there. And then if that's subsequently changed, I can move it to the expected category. But it means you can immediately understand the weightings of the judgments that you've made. That's particularly useful when you're explaining it to governors and so on, particularly when you have instances where you may have multiple multiple criteria in expected, strong, and exceptional or outstanding, but you only need literally 1 in any of the other categories, and everything will be dragged down. Okay.
Jeff, I'm just going to
so that's the process that.
Sorry, Jeff. Charlotte
Yes.
has asked a question about, can you ask the AI to suggest a best fit for your evidence?
You could do, yeah. I mean, you could ask the AI anything you like. What I would recommend you do, we do a pilot version where you can try the system after we've spoken. So if you did want to try it and just experiment asking the AI anything you like, see how you get on. Like with any AI, you have to kind of teach it to understand what you want. It's all about the way in which you ask it the questions. And so what I found is that I have to ask it kind of multiple times until it properly understands what it is I'm trying to get from it. So what I would recommend is, if you do have questions specifically about the AI, just try it on pilot and then just ask the AI loads of questions and then evaluate those answers that it gives you. At the end of the process, you can put a summary in the overview box here. So again, people have asked, could we use AI to write this summary for us? And I think you could, but again, it would depend on how you ask the question, on the kind of answers that you'd get. We are working on a button that will actually say, here are the success criteria that we've met at the different standards. Please write a 200-word summary for that. And the developers are literally working on that as we speak. And that button will just appear down here, and it will automatically then write this summary for this section for you, and then you can just edit it. But the reason why I'm showing you this summary is because that then feeds directly into the next part of the system. So this is the interactive live report card. Data from here feeds straight into our reporting area. And we've designed this area to look exactly the same as the suggested report cards that Ofsted recommend. So it does look a little dull. What it does, at the top, it shows you the numbers of categories that we've got against each of the areas. So we've got 2 in the strong area, 3 in expected, 2 in needs attention. And as I scroll down through the report, first of all, it shows me the overview section, which I'll show you in a second, and it harvests the information from there. And then we can see it in the strong standard, we've got inclusion in early years, expected standard, we've got curriculum and teaching achievement, and so on. And the reason why we asked Ofsted why their report card looked so simplistic, and they said they'd done that deliberately so that it could be shared easily on mobile devices. And so that's why we've got this button over here. And by mobile devices, I mean it can be shared. So when we all have parent apps, don't we, where we share information from schools to home, and more often than not, parents view that information that we send them on their mobile phone. And so for any report that you generate, you can click this button over here, which will generate a secure link. And when you click on that secure link, that will give you an output which can be sent to mobile phones and viewed really simplistically on mobile phones. I could download it as a Word document, and I can edit and change it and so on, or a PDF. I could also download the full questionnaire. So if I click on full questionnaire, what this does is it takes my overview. I'll show you the overview in a second. It takes my overview and the answers to every single question that I put in, and any pieces of evidence that we've attached as well. And again, linked and shared by a secure link, perfect for governors and curriculum working parties and stuff like that. So again, what it means is it provides you with a summative snapshot of that live report card evaluation. Before I go any further, I'll show you this overview tab as well. So you can see here in this summary document here, we've got a little overview section where we've got Holy Trinity is committed to providing the best possible opportunities. And I just copied this from our school website. And also a link to our exam results there. But in fact, you can imagine it having information about attendance and exam results and so on, just like you have to provide Ofsted. That information is just typed into here. So you just type that into this box. You can cut and paste any kind of reports in there. I've just cut and pasted some links in there too. So you could have links into your Arbor attendance software or your Sims assessment software in there. And that information there gets harvested alongside the report card evaluation and dropped into the summary reports here. And so then when I share that report with parents, they can see everything that I typed in, but they can also click on the links as well. So if I clicked on that link there, that takes us to, I think it takes the school website, and I just did it to the exams page, which shows SATs results from last year. There you go. Just to give you an example of what it does. But again, what it means is at every point along the route, it is shaving off bits of time where historically we've had to go away and write a report. We've had to go away and share the self-evaluation document with our colleagues and then get their feedback from it. We've had to collect the evidence and keep the evidence stored somewhere. Whereas here, all of that is provided for you. The evidence library, as I said before, every piece of evidence that you attach and upload to your self-evaluation is stored here. And the nice thing about that is you can then draw upon that evidence should you need it, because it's all automatically tagged against the criteria from the inspection framework. So if I click on this and say, right, show me all the evidence that relates to inclusion, it will bring back those 3 pieces. Or show me all the evidence that relates to curriculum and teaching, and it'll bring back that one. So it's a really nice little tool that not only provides some curatorship of the evidence that we've got in place, it allows us to share that and access that really quickly, because how often have we kind of scrambled around searching for pieces of evidence which we know are saved on my laptop or the deputy's laptop or on the network somewhere, but never been able to put our hands on it when we needed it. Here, any piece of evidence can be stored up to quite large files. And again, it can be video files, sound files, PDFs, Excel spreadsheets, anything you like. I won't bother showing you through the setup area. There's a help area, which is just a series of videos, really, because we found that getting people started usually takes literally 15 minutes because the whole system is built around a process that we know already. Effectively, all you do is select an area you're going to evaluate, then a subsection, then you look at a criteria, then you look at what exceptional, strong, expected, needs attention, and urgent looks like for that criteria. Then you look at what Ofsted will be looking at for that criteria, and then you look at what great practice might look like. Then when you've got that knowledge, you can make a sound and well-informed decision of where you think you are, and you can upload and attach pieces of evidence as you go along. So we find that support-wise, we get very, very few support requests from our users because they just get up and running really quickly. But to help you get up and running as fast as possible, we've just built this series of videos, which is just myself and my team walking you through that process, which kind of gets you started. One thing I did want to show you just before I finish, one thing that's really important to us is providing a link between self-evaluation and school improvement planning. So at any point, like before, when we clicked on here and then we looked at specific examples of what good practice looks like, we can cut and paste from here and we can build as in action planning module. Now, I won't take you through all the core functionality of the action planning module, other than just kind of show you what it does. Effectively, what this does is provide you with an environment where you can build subject-specific plans, key stage-specific plans. You can build plans along to meet specific key priorities for the school moving forward. And what my team will do for you is we build this page to include all the areas that your current action planning and improvement plans have. So here, for instance, this school's got these key priorities that they're focusing on. You can type the title in of the action that you're working on. You can cut and paste a strategy in from, like I say, from the AI, from the previous product. You can assign it to key members of staff to work on. You can give them a review date when it needs to be done by. You can tag it against a subject or a RAG rating. You can attach policy documents and so on. And that then gets uploaded and dropped inside a particular plan. And what we find is that particularly larger primary schools find this incredibly useful. If you've got multiple members of staff working on multiple action plans, subject leadership plans, and development and improvement plans, then this provides the perfect environment where the leadership team can see in a live view how the plans are being implemented, and they can monitor them effectively. But I think I won't go into full detail about this at this point because it's a lot to kind of cope with when we've already been talking for half an hour about self-evaluation. But if you are interested in action planning, you do get that completely free as part of the platform. So that's all I wanted to take you through today. I must say that this last term, since we launched the new self-evaluation module, has been our busiest term. We found that heads find it incredibly useful, not only as a platform by which they can be more organized, thorough, and rigorous, but it also provides you with a peace of mind knowing that all of your self-evaluations are in one place, all of your self-evaluations are live and are shared effectively with key members of staff who are working on them. And all those self-evaluations can then subsequently be automatically converted into Ofsted compliant report cards, which can immediately be shared with parents and so on. So I'm going to stop there. If any of you do have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and myself or Ian would be very happy to answer that.
there's one question from Wayne. Thank you, Wayne. How would you share this evidence for the Ofsted team? What would they see? I've replied, you can output to the summary page by giving them the link. But do you want to show that, or is that?
Yeah, so we can output to the summary page, exactly that. There's a number of things you could do. You can give them guest access. So you could literally give the Ofsted inspector guest access to the system and they could have a view at it themselves. Or you can provide links to, so if we do the full questionnaire, so this full questionnaire has got a piece of evidence attached to it, I think, as we scroll further down. I'm sure it has down here. I thought it did. So that's in. So if I shared this report with Ofsted, I sent my Ofsted inspector this link. They then clicked on this link. So this is the view they'd get. So there's the link. That's like the hyperlink that links out to the exam results. And then if we go further down, here's the spring term. If I clicked on that, that has then downloaded it to my downloads box, and I can click on that and view it there. Yeah.
It's really interesting, Geoff. Though, so like, I love the way you can. If you got a sort of like a, we have this quite a lot in the community. So like, if you got one document like the IDSR document with all the information in, how would you link it to different sections to the report card evaluation? Is there an easy process to do that?
You can attach documents in multiple ways. So you can provide links at any point in any of the summary areas here, or you could just attach the whole document again at any point as well. So what we found is it tends to be links to, like I said before, people will either go to Arbor or Sims and cut and paste tables out of there straight into here, yep. Or they'll provide links in here directly to either the specific point in the MIS or a link to where the document is stored. Now, the only problem is sometimes if your document is stored on a secure network, then of course Ofsted are not going to immediately be able to see that. So there are some factors that you need to consider, but what we found so far is that there's always a way around it.
That sounds good, because sometimes you have multiple things that could cover multiple areas. So what would be the top tip of actually using this this system? How do you say what would be the best thing, the best feature that people have been talking about with it?
What we found is the fact it's just so, it's this page really resonates. And because when you first see it, so when you come to it fresh, you just get all of the criteria in this gray box here. And then as you work through the process that I've just done, this page comes alive. And whilst it's a very detailed process, it's also a very fulfilling process, because the whole page becomes alive and a kind of real representation of what school life is actually like at your school. And where I get the most satisfaction, I'd say, is when we do in-service sessions with school, because what we often find is that they'll say, can we come in and do an in-service session with the early years team and go through this framework together? And so what we do is we will literally go through each section of the early years framework, each of the criteria, and then we have really robust discussions around particularly the success criteria here, what strong looks like, what expected looks like. And between us as colleagues, we can have proper discussions about, well, because quite often we often err towards overestimating where we currently sit. And what is quite useful is, as a staff, if we can say, well, is that really the case? Do we have the evidence in place? Can we really show that we meet that exact criteria? And even if we don't meet that exact criteria, just having those kind of professional discussions within the context of the framework provides a CPD session in itself. And without exception, where we've been involved in those training sessions, the school has really not only enjoyed the process, but has fed back to us that the tool itself is almost like a CPD tool, even though it provides, its core function is to provide a mechanism to produce a CEF and a report card. But it's like a CPD tool, because it shows you the things you need to do to move between the categories. We also use it with governing bodies as well, where we'll speak to governors and we'll go through the governance section. How many of us are absolutely confident that our governors know what strong looks like and knows what expected is, or even know what it is they're going to get asked questions about? After Easter, we're releasing a free governors pack, which the marketing team are working on, and we're giving away that completely free to whoever wants it. And it explains how you can use Know My School as a tool to provide CPD to governors and take them through that. So that's what I would say. It's not a system for jumping through hoops. It's a system designed to provide senior leaders with a tool to deliver something, but also a tool to help everybody involved in making the school a better place, more informed and better aware of what the expectations are of the people who are judging us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I can completely see that. I'm looking through that now and just going, yeah, I can see that. The discussions that you could have from just that one page of where we are and what you need to, and even on your demo, then you go, okay, we've got to look at attendance and behaviour and personal development. Okay, they need some bits of work. What's the plan on those? So really good. So thank you very much for your time today. And if you have any questions, Ian's got his email address on there, so you can actually get in contact with Ian to ask him any questions about how to use the system, what's the cost and things like that of the system for you and your school. We had one question earlier, just going to say, how do small schools, because we have this quite a lot in our platform, how have you done any needs for small schools and how they would work on this system? Because that keeps them coming up quite a lot.
Yes, we've got a number of schools, small schools that use the system. We do provide pricing for small schools. I think probably Ian is best to field that question.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just drop in a copy and paste I've got, but exactly that. So a small school with up to 59 pupils for a 1-year license is £350. A school with 1,000 plus pupils is £1,999 for a year, plus VAT these are. So yeah, I mean, that's something that's very important for Too Simple. We've always done that with Purple Mash, if you like, our other, curriculum software. It's always tried, schools are funded on themselves on number of pupils in there. So we've always tried to help in that area. Yeah.
And you can see how much time and effort it would save the school leadership team on creating all the ideas and the CEF and things like that. So well done, Geoff. I think you've created a great product here. And I've known the amount of time and effort that's been put into this one. So congratulations on creating it. If you have any questions, do ask us in the community. I can pass on your information to Geoff and Ian as well. So thank you very much for your time and enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.